All right, guys, let's do our best to recap Seahawks Bears, the thrilling Thursday night game. Here's the top performances, and yeah, it's not pretty when the guy at the top of the list and DJ Moore has 12.2 points. DeAndre Swift right behind him at 12.1. Zach Charbonnet, hot start, and then completely fizzled out. Kenny McIntosh got some work involved in the Seahawks backfield as well. I mean, Rotopat, this was just ugly from start to finish on both sides of the ball. And there's a chance, if you're in a fantasy championship, that you had some of these guys starting in a flex spot, or if you lost Kenneth Walker and you had Charbonnet as an insurance back, man, it is not a pretty start because of the Thursday night game.
2 of the 3 Thursday night football games during the fantasy playoffs did not feature a touchdown. So it had frankly been a better year than normal from Thursday night football, and then kind of rug pulling when it mattered most in the fantasy playoffs. And really the only fantasy takeaway from this game, one, the real life takeaway, it's nice to be from St. Louis where we lost our football team and don't have to worry about this kind of stuff anymore. And like the worst football you could ever possibly see. And fantasy, if you're in a final, I had a 2 quarterback league, Caleb Williams, Zach Charbonnet, and JSN. I'm in a real hole now. You're in upside mode now. So if any lineup decision, you're making the tiebreaker, you're putting the guy in there who can maybe flip a week. Even if it's someone with a 0-point floor, someone who you can only count on for like 3 or 4 catches, maybe in the old school MVS mode, I just think you start leaning towards those players because you can't worry about the floor. You've already got the horrible floor outcomes from 2 or 3 of your guys, and you just have to go upside hunting. So that's all I can really say about the fantasy fallout from this game is you took some bad scores, start flipping those coins in favor of the guys that could have a 0-catch day on Sunday, but could also score a 70-yard touchdown and flip a matchup on maybe only 2 to 3 catches. You just have to go upside hunting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were right, Pat. You need to go upside hunting, but I don't want to. You shouldn't be. You're not going to bench a good player for a crappy one just because, like, oh, there's a upside doesn't mean this guy is unlikely. It is just like what could possibly happen, right? I mean, like so. I started Pacheco 2 weeks ago. I started Pacheco in a league where I was a similar thing because I was just like Pacheco had a tough matchup, but he also had the best chance of any of the players available to me that scored 2 touchdowns. Right, so you have to sort of think about it. Obviously, Pacheco did not have a great game, and so that didn't work out. But the process was right. I will say that if there's a positive here, it's that a lot of people are in the same boat as we showed, like I had JSN who did nothing last night, but Big Show had DJ Moore. So I mean, like a little bit of a wash. Now, if it makes you feel any better, I'll just tell you that I'm in one league where I'm the defending champion. This is my keeper league with all my college buddies, and I had Nico Collins and Kaimi Fairbairn on Wednesday. Good times, and the guy was playing has Xavier Worthy. So we're in a hole. And by the way, we just lost Jalen Hurts in that league. So good times. I'm in another dynasty league where I played against a guy who had Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Travis Kelce. I haven't started yet. So I'm also in so it is, you have to upside hunt a little bit, but there's a lot of football left to play. There's a lot of football left to play here. And as we've just seen, like after the Wednesday games, if you'd had Nico Collins and you said like, oh, well, I gotta rush in and start a Bears player, let me take a chance on Rome Odunze, and just a lot of football left to play, I guess, not to panic real quickly. I don't know that there's anything to take away from this game. It was just ugly from start to finish. Charbonnet was running well, and then they went away from him. Just a mind-bogglingly bad coaching, I felt, on both sides of the ball. The Seahawks had no business winning this game, and yet they did it. It was only the Bears' ineptitude that allowed Seattle to win this game. It was awful. I mean, it was raining. It wasn't great weather. It's Thursday. It's a short week, but still, Connor, it was just bad football. And I don't think there's a massive fantasy takeaway here.
It was terrible football right down to the end where you thought the Bears were in good position to play their way into a long field goal around 50 to 54 yards. And they instead are throwing the ball down the field. And on 4th down, they don't trust their kicker to make a 57-yarder, which is tough in Chicago. But that goes back to the coaching to me and the young quarterback. I mean, this is an eye-popping stat here, guys. That infamous David Carr rookie season in Houston where he was sacked 76 times. Caleb Williams, he's still got a game to go. He's been sacked 67. So this is a historic pace right now for the number 1 overall pick, and it was not pretty for the Bears fans, and it was not pretty for Thursday Night Football. But let's hope for better times.
And you know what else, Connor? You know who else it wasn't pretty for?
Try to save you from it.
Wasn't pretty for me, because you know what my best bet was yesterday? Caleb Williams not to throw a pick. Caleb Williams under 0.5 interceptions. He'd had the long streak of passes without interception. My son had a parlay going. $5, he was going to win $50. He was so excited. He'd hit every single leg, and he only needed Caleb Williams to not throw a pick. And then yet, on 4th down, they don't go for the field goal. They decide he runs around again, and what happens? He throws up a duck that Seattle comes down with. Just knock it down. It's 4th down. The game is over. But no, Keenan Allen doesn't even make a play on the ball. He doesn't even make a play on the ball. He just sits there and lets the guy, he gets mossed. Go watch that play. Keenan Allen basically gets mossed, and the interception happens. Parlay loses. My bet loses. Caleb Williams loses his streak. Bears being the Bears. Good Lord. It's disgusting. All of it's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
A horrific night of betting. I thought I had Charbonnet's rushing yards cashed almost near halftime, and then he just disappeared from the entire game plan. I don't know why Seattle would want to run the ball effectively. So really good times all around for Thursday Night Football. Great for betting, great for fantasy.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.